Okay, so vocabulary looks a lot like yesterday's vocabulary, but we have 3 different words. Okay, so let's start with the words that we know. We know we did composite number yesterday, a number that has 3 or more factors. So what I mean by that is, so if we're looking at 6, you have 2 times 3 and 1 times 6, that gives you 6. So your composite numbers is 6 because it has more than one in itself as its factors. So your composite number is 6, 8, and 12. Now there's more. You can say 4, you can say 36, you can say 54. All those numbers are composite because it has more than one set of factors. Okay? We also talked about prime numbers, and prime numbers were the numbers that only have one and that number that itself, when you multiply them, that give you that number. So for instance, 11. 1 times 11 only gives you 11. I cannot multiply any other whole number by another whole number to get 11. So that means that a number that only has 2 factors, one in itself, is going to give you that prime number as its definition. Now, the words that you know or you've heard of in 4th and 5th grade, but may have done or seen it in different ways, are prime factorization, greatest common factor, and factor. So we're going to start with factor, because I know you guys are familiar with the rainbow factor tree. That's what I was talking about yesterday. Okay? That means that you will have a number that will divide into another number without a remainder. So for instance, if we were looking at 12, you would do your rainbow factor trees. Your factors of 12 are 1, 12, 3, and 4. And the way I got those is because 1 times, and they did 24, but 1 times 12 would be 12. 2 times 6, that's another set of factors that I actually forgot. 2 times 6 is 12. 3 times 4 is 12. Those are all factors because they all equal 12 when they're multiplied together without having a remainder. So that is what a factor is. Now we have prime factorization, which is the breakdown of a composite number into a product of prime numbers. So what that means is that you're going to take a composite number and you are going to break it down into numbers such as 2, 3, 5, 7. Those numbers are your prime numbers, and your prime factorization has the word prime in it, so you're only allowed to have the factors that are prime in prime factorization. So for instance, they do 72 for your example. They say 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 gives you 72, and they prime factorized it to get that. And then last is greatest common factor. Just like least common multiple, least means small. So greatest is the biggest number that the two numbers go into exactly. Okay, so we're going to be focusing on GCF this week, as well as LCM, and determining the difference between the two in word problems. Okay, so that's vocab for today.